Hello everyone, welcome to Canadian Immigration Channel from lptoronto.com. Now I want to share with you one interesting thing. What would be the most difficult refusal case we're working with? As many of you know, we have a dedicated team working with refusals. We call it a refusal management, and we work with complex cases, with difficult cases, cases which require specific meticulous attention to details where it comes to refusals of immigration programs, where it comes to cases where officers made error in law, etc., etc. So however not obvious it might sound, but the most difficult refusal cases we deal with is refusals of study permits. So if you're applying for a study visa and you were refused, that will probably be one of the most complex cases to deal with, because in many circumstances we will not even recommend you to resubmit your application. Why? Well, at least not immediately, right? Don't freak out. Why? Well, here is a simple reason. Every temporary resident visa you're applying for, whether it's a temporary resident visa you're coming as a tourist, or it's a temporary visa as a foreign worker or as a student, you have to prove two major points, I would say. The first one is, what is the reason for you to come to Canada? The second one, what will make you return back home? Why should an officer believe that after your visa expires you get back home and you satisfy the visa requirements? Now, with the study permits, the most complex one, the most complex thing to deal with would be the first part. Why are you coming to Canada? So if you're coming to study and say you want to study in, I don't know, an IT field, right? And you were refused because the officer does not believe that it's in line with your career. What would happen is you're resubmitting your application, and what will you do? You will change the program of study, which will by itself sound a little bit fishy, right? Because it sounds like you're coming to Canada no matter what. You're trying to sneak into Canada, right? And in such cases, resubmission of application immediately will probably make absolutely no sense, because you have to stick to the initial story. What makes cases worse is that lots of applications are made not just by applicants themselves, they're made by ghost consultants, by those consultants in, well, you can name them in India, anywhere in Asia. There are lots of those in Eastern and Western Europe who are like helping you out to select a program, right? Because they're interested in getting commissions from academic institutions, they're interested in your money. So obviously these people have no experience and no needed knowledge, I mean in-depth knowledge of immigration procedures, of visa procedures, and what happens, they suggest you something they might find suitable, which will not work for you. Now, you have to stick to that story. You cannot change the academic program immediately, because, as I said, it will sound fishy and officers will refuse your case. Now, to make things worse, you're applying for another type of visa. You're applying for temporary resident visa, saying, okay, all right, visa was not given to me for language studies, now I come in for temporary resident visa to visit a cousin of mine, right? Again, it sounds fishy, because like yesterday you were applying for a study and you were trying to prove to me that you were a genuine student, you were going somewhere to Winnipeg. Now you're coming to Toronto to visit your cousin, and well, in the previous application your cousin was not mentioned at all, right? And it goes on and on and on and on, and all those little details, they get stuck into your case, right? And officers see that, and moreover, it may actually have a negative impact on your immigration application in the future if, God forbid, you would need to use a provincial program, and the province looks at you and says, well, wait a second. You're telling me that you will live in Saskatchewan or Manitoba, right, applying for a program, but half a year ago you were applying for a study in Toronto, now you got a relative in Toronto, and you were proving all these points, and they're all affixed in your application. So bottom line here, and the purpose of this video is, guys, before applying for studies, think carefully. If needed, come to us, get an advice, right? Discuss your case. So we will make sure that your career, your future plans of studying in Canada, they will all be in line and sound realistically. Maybe there is a chance to look differently at the case. Instead of like going for studies, maybe it will be much better to spend, say, 3, 4, 5 months to say study English or French, right, or improving your skills, and afterwards applying for immigration. Or there is another alternative, or there is something else, right? Because I still remember the case we had in the United States. A person was not capable of taking IELTS test, right, to the needed level. I think he called us like a week before the New Brunswick session, which actually took place in New York, and afterwards he managed to successfully receive provincial nomination. So look, there are always ways to look at the case, and if needed, feel free to drop us a line. If there's anything suitable for you, we will gladly help you out. Stay tuned, and of course subscribe for the channel.